So, hello everyone. We are the group one, and for today's session, we're gonna tackle chapter one, lesson one, titled "Historical Antecedents," which changed the course of science and technology. So, for the learning objectives, at the end of the session, the learner should be able to trace the historical development of science and technology in the world, ancient, middle, and the modern ages in the Philippines, and to demonstrate appreciation for the developments in science and technology.
So first, we have the role of science and technology and development. So science education is essential in helping students understand the complexities of the world around them. So inihanda sila dito para sa mga careers in science-related fields. So dito may apply nila ang kanilang mga natutunan or ang kanilang knowledge to solve real-world challenges. So by integrating science education with societal needs, curriculum development ensures that students are equipped with relevant skills. So, furthermore, technology ay may malaking ambag sa larangan ng education. So, it enhances the learning experiences and it fosters innovation. So, science education also instill in learners a problem-solving mindset, which is mahalaga or necessary to address the global challenges, and it drives them to technological progress.
History of science and technology in the world, ancient, middle, and modern ages. So, science and technology has been around from the beginning of time. So, like, nag-evolve lang siya from the everyday efforts ng mga tao trying to improve yung way of living nila. So, throughout history, yung humankind utilize the tools, machines, and techniques kahit pa hindi talaga nila naiintindihan or kung paano ito gumagana or kung paano yung parang pinaka-physical or parang pinaka-chemical composition nito. So, ancient times. So, yung earliest form ng technology date backs approximately 2.3 million years ago with human-made tools like rough stones used for chopping and scraping, primarily found in Eastern Africa. So, dito natin maiisip na this is the Stone Age. So, ito yung parang pinaka-earliest period ng human history na nakaka-characterize by the use ng simple tools na gawa sa stone. So, yung mga tao during this time were mainly hunter-gatherers na nagre-rely talaga sa mga natural resources for survival. So, sila yung mga parang sila yung mga nag-create ng mga tools na gawa sa stone. Yun. Next is Mesopotamia. So, yung region naman na to is among the first to document scientific knowledge. So, yung early records included observations ng diseases, chemical substances showcasing na yung beginnings of medical and chemical sciences. Egyptian advances. So, sa Nile Valley, yung ancient Egyptians documented yung mga treatment for wounds and diseases and developed early mathematics to measure yung angles and volumes such as yung parang ginamit sa pag-build ng mga pyramids na alam natin ngayon. Philosophers and mathematicians. So, yung mga figures like Euclid, tulad ng nasa PPT, known as the father of geometry, and Archimedes, who made significant contributions to engineering and mathematics tulad ng pagkakalculate ng pi na nag-emerge around 300 to 400 BCE na hanggang ngayon ay ginagamit pa din natin. Bronze Age. So, ito yung discovery ng copper and its alloy with tin na nakagawa ng bronze na nag-pave ng way for advancement ng iba't ibang fields. So, dito parang transportation innovations. Ito naman yung around 3,500 BCE. So, ito yung invention naman ng two-wheeled cart sa Mesopotamia na naging essential for transporting goods na nag-showcase ng early technological innovations, urbanizations. So, ito yung first city na nag-emerge around 3000 BCE in Egypt na with construction of monumental structures na tulad ng mga pyramids, which remains marvels of engineering today. Middle Ages. So, Middle Ages, often termed the Dark Ages, saw significant development despite nung challenges nung time na yun. So, warfare technology advanced, leading to new weaponry and tactics. Renaissance Era, 1450 to 1600 Anno Domini. The Renaissance marked a rebirth of knowledge and innovation. Why? Kasi dito makikita na natin yung mga pinag-iimbento ng mga tao. So, let's take for example, Gutenberg printing press. So, sa Germany, si Johannes Gutenberg is na-imbento niya yung printing press na revolutionizing information dissemination by making books widely available, which facilitated yung education and literacy. Second is Leonardo da Vinci. Isa siyang polymath of this era. Si Da Vinci, siya yung nag-emphasize ng importance ng experimentation. So, yung notebook niya nagka-contains ng observation ng anatomy, engineering designs tulad ng mga tanks and flying machines, and artistic achievements na nagbe-blend sa science and art. Third is astronomy. So, si Nicolaus Copernicus, ni-revive niya yung ancient Greek theories na nagpo-propose na yung sun, na hindi yung earth is nasa gitna ng ating solar system, which fundamentally changed yung ating understanding ng astronomy. Fourth is yung geographic discoveries, which is yung innovations like tulad nung triangular sail and magnetic compass. So, yung mga tao na tulad nila, Prince Henry, the navigator of Portugal, led voyage around Africa to reach yung India, while si Christopher Columbus expeditions nag-result naman ng discovery ng Amerika. So, in other words, throughout history in science and technology have continually evolved, driven by human curiosity and the need to solve yung practical problems. So, from the simple tools ng prehistoric times to the groundbreaking discoveries of the Renaissance. So, yung mga advancement na to have shaped yung civilization and continue to influence yung buhay natin ngayon. So, by understanding yung history, it helps us appreciate yung naging foundation ng modern science and technology and yung naging impact niya sa atin or sa mundo.
So the next one is the modern science and technology around 1600 AD. So the first one is si Galileo Galilei. Kilala natin siya or pinangalanan siya ni Albert Einstein, the father of modern science. So sinasabi dito na maraming na-contribute or maraming na-discover si Galileo Galilei, and ang field niya dito sa science is the astronomy and many more. And alam natin na siya yung gumawa ng mga revolutionary na telescopic discoveries. So, siya yung unang gumamit ng mga modern scientific method. Yun yung mga na-establish through testing and experimentation noong 1608. And nung narinig ni Galileo Galilei na may na-invento na spyglass is telescope po siya. So when Galileo heard that, he immediately improved that spyglass, and after many times, after 30 times exactly, is nakapag-create na siya ng new version ng kanyang spyglass, which is the telescope na tinatawag natin. So, hindi lang naman siya yung nag-succeed na makagawa ng mga gantong mga ganitong spyglass or telescope, but siya yung mas nakapag-improve, and siya rin yung, after ma-discover yung telescope, is nakakita na siya ng crater through telescope and yung mountains of the moon, and later on na-discover na rin niya yung microscope and thermometer. So the next one is the Isaac Newton. Alam ko naman na kilala natin siya kilala natin siyang lahat. Yung contribution niya sa modern science is mathematical and mathematics and physics. So, ang famous na nagawa niya is the law of motion, the relationship about the objects and the force, including din yung mga universal law of gravitation, optics, and mathematical calculus. Yung mga sinagawa niya is yung pinagsama-samang reasoning, experimentation, mathematical, and empirical evidence. Empirical evidence ay isa siyang information obtained through observation and documentation. Kaya marami nagsasabi na nagmark din yung contribution niya in modern era of the science and technology. So last one is si Albert Einstein. Of course, kilalang kilala natin siya. He made the most contribution in modern science and technology, which is yung theoretical physics and the quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics is a study of matter and energy at the most fundamental level. Yung work niya is nag-revolutionize our understanding of the universe, space, time, and energy. And some of its work are significant contribution or special relativity noong 1905, and of course his famous equation, which is yung E equals to mc squared. It shows that equivalence of mass and energy. And marami pa rin siyang mga na-contribute beside that. And noong late 1800, yung light bulb ay nagkaroon na ng mga candles and ng oil lamps, and nung 20th century naman is nagkaroon na ng radyo, yung car is nagkaroon na ng engine, and yung meron na ring nakatapak may nakatapak na sa space using the rocket and so on. So alam nating lahat, he made the kaya marami nagsasabi that he made the most contribution during the modern science and technology. So dito naman tayo sa science and technology in the Philippines. Maraming naging journey or mahabang journey ang naranasan ng Pilipinas, and yon, nagsimula siya sa cultural, colonial, and political influences during nung time na yon. Before pa pumunta doon yung mga Spanish sa Pilipinas, meron na tayong mga skills na alam natin na nanggaling talaga sa atin. Of course, yung mga indigenous Filipinos na nakadevelop ng mga technological such as agriculture, crafts, medicine, and engineering. So, of course, sa agriculture, alam naman natin yung mga Pilipino is magagaling sila sa pagpa-farm ng wet and dry rice. And yung most impressive naman na ginawa ng indigenous engineering is yung alam nating Banawe rice terraces, kasi isa sa terrace fields carved and mountain sides in the Cordillera region. Etong achievement na to is nagpapakita ng hydrology, soil management, and sustainable development. So sa handicrafts naman and industry, pre-practice nila yung pottery, weaving, and yung metalworking gamit yung mga nahanap nila sa local markets. Nakagawa rin sila ng boats or yung tawag nilang balangay na ginagamit nila for trading and transportation. And yung traditional medicines naman ay alam naman natin na yung extensive knowledge natin sa halaman or mga herbal is nakakagaling na mga iilang karamdaman. And of course, may tinatawag din tayong albularyo na nakakagaling din ng mga ilang karamdaman. Kaya before pa dumating yung mga Spanish meron na tayong rich culture, scientific, yung Pilipinas and yung mga technological practices. So, dito naman tayo sa Spanish colonial period. Yung mga, of course, dumating na yung mga Spanish sa Pilipinas. Of course, mas na-improve or nagkaroon ng iba sa Pilipinas in terms of science and technology tulad ng mga educational, institutional, marami silang na-control, including the church, Catholic churches. One of their established is the UST, the oldest university in Asia, under siya nun, and yung Colegio de San Juan de Letran, yun yung mga schools na dun, yung school na yun is parang dun ka mag-aaral ng pagpapare. And yun, during that time, mas na-improve nila yung mga herbal, yung mga hospital na parang inadapt nila sa kanilang bansa at nilipat nila dito sa Pilipinas. And marami din silang na-establish na mga infrastructure and technology.
American period and post-Commonwealth era. The progress of science and technology continued under American rule. On July 1, 1901, the Philippine Commission established the Bureau of Government Laboratories, which was placed under the Department of Interior. The Bureau replaced the Laboratory Municipal, which was replaced during the Spanish era. So during the American rule, advancements in science and technology continued to grow. And on July 1, 1901, the Bureau of Government Laboratories was created to handle scientific research, replacing an older lab from the Spanish period. And on October 26, 1905, the Bureau of Government Laboratories was replaced by Bureau of Science. With the progress of science and technology on December 8, 1933, the National Research Council of the Philippines was recognized. So on December 8, 1933, Philippines was officially recognized to promote scientific research. In 1958, during the regime of President Carlos P. Garcia, the Philippine Congress passed the Science Act of 1958, which was established the National Science Development Board. So, what is the purpose nga ba nung Science Act of 1958? It is to integrate, coordinate, and intensify scientific and technological research and development and to foster intention to provide funds.
So now we have former President Fidel V. Ramos. He is the 12th President of the Philippines from 1992 to 1998. So, during his term ay nagkaroon siya ng malaking ambag sa science and technology. So, during his administration, he focused on scientific research, technological advancements, and innovation, which is nagkaroon ng malaking pag-unlad sa ating ekonomiya ng bansa. So, si President Fidel V. Ramos ay gumawa ng mga hakbang para mapaunlad ang science and technology sa ating bansa. So, halimbawa dito sa kanyang pamumuno noong 1993 ay inulunsad niya ang Science and Technology Agenda for National Development at layunin nito na mapaganda ang kakayahan ng industriya sa paggamit ng mga makabagong teknolohiya para mas maging produktibo ang ating bansa. So, during his administration, binigyang priority niya ang Research and Development or R&D. So, sa program na ito, ginawa ito para suportahan ang needs ng mga local industries. So, layunin nito na palakasin ang productivity and competitiveness ng mga Filipino sa industriya sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng mga makabagong teknolohiya. And example na nga lang dito ay pinondohan niya ang mga proyekto na nagpapataas sa kahusayan ng mga industries tulad ng agriculture and manufacturing. So, gamit nga ang makabagong teknolohiya upang makipagsabayan ito sa pandaigdigang merkado. So, another example is ang pagbuo ng Presidential Task Force on Science and Technology noong 1998. So, ito ay tumututok sa pagpapalakas ng science and technology upang maging globally competitive ang ating bansa. And meron din tayong plano ng Department of Science and Technology or DOST noong 1999 to 2004. Ito ay tinatawag na Competence, Competitive, and Conscience. Ito ay may 6 na program. Una na dito ay ang Comprehensive Program to Enhance Technology Enterprises. So, layunin nito na palakasin ang mga negosyo gamit ang technology. Second is Integrated Program on Clean Technologies. Tinutulok nito ang paggamit ng teknolohiyang environmental friendly. Third is the establishment of a packaging R&D center. So, binubuo ito ng Research and Development Center na nakatuon sa packaging innovations. Fourth, expansions of regional meteorology centers. Ito ay ang pagpapalawak ng meteorology centers sa iba't ibang rehiyon para sa mas maayos na monitoring ng klima. Fifth is the S&T Intervention Program for the Poor, Vulnerable, and Disabled. So, ang project na ito ay para matulungan ang mga may hirap, vulnerable, at ang persons with disabilities gamit ang science and technology. And lastly, we have the Comprehensive Science and Technology Program for Mindanao. Ito ay ang pagpapaunlad ng science and technology programs na nakatutok sa Mindanao para isulong ang regional development. So, we have the encouragement of private sector participation in science and technology. So, during his term, ang administrasyon ay nag-encourage ng mga private sector na para makilahok sa science and technology projects. So, these collaborations among government agencies, academic institutions, and private companies was emphasized. So, ang partnership na ito ay naging susi para sa success ng mga technological developments during his time. And si President Ramos ay naniniwala na ang science and technology ay mahalaga para sa Pilipinas na ma-achieve ang status of a new industrialized country or NIC. With the support of the private sector, more resources and ideas were brought into projects, resulting in faster progress in various fields. Ilan na nga lamang dito ay ang mga key priorities ni Fidel V. Ramos. So, una ay ang exporting winners identified by the DTI. So, nagpo-focus ito sa pagpapromote ng mga successful local products and businesses for exports. Second is the domestic needs identified by the Presidential Council for Countryside Development. So, ito ay nag-a-address sa mga essential needs ng ating communities to support the local development. Third is the support for industries and coconut industries development. So, ini-aim nito na palakasin ang mga various industries, particularly na nga sa mga coconut sector, which is vital or mahalaga para sa ating economy. We also have the important laws enacted during his term. First is the Magna Carta for Science and Technology Personnel or Republic Act No. 8439. Ito ay nagpo-provide ng rights and benefits for science and technology professionals. Second is the Science and Technology Scholarship Law or Republic Act No. 7687. So, ito ay nag-offer ng scholarship para sa mga deserving students na nagpa-pursue ng science and technology fields. Third is the Inventors and Inventions Incentives Act or Republic Act No. 7459. So, ito ay nagpo-promote ng mga innovation by providing support and incentives para sa mga inventors. So, fourth is the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines or Republic Act number 8293. So, ito ay nag-establish ng laws para maprotektahan ng mga intellectual property rights, and ito ay nag-encourage ng creativity and innovation.
Marcos era and martial law. Major development projects to reform educations were done, in which included research and development, establishment of technical institutes, science education centers, and agricultural colleges, and vocational high schools. So, yung Philippine Council for Agricultural Research was also established to support yung progressive development of agriculture, forestry, and fisheries for the country. So, yung council was attached to the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources for administrative purposes. Another agency was established by Presidential Decree Number 49, Series of 1972, and this is the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services, PAG-ASA, under the Department of National Defense. So, yung function nito was to provide environmental protection and to utilize yung scientific knowledge para ma-ensure yung safety ng mga tao. The Philippine National Oil Company was also created to promote the industrial and economic development through effective and efficient use of energy sources. So, noong 1976, yung National Academy of Science and Technology was established and was composed of scientists with innovative achievements in the basic and applied sciences to serve as a reservoir of scientific and technological expertise for the country. So, noong 1979 naman, yung government-funded scientific research conducted by National Science Development Board or known as NSDB, yung Philippine Council for Agricultural Research and Resources, the Plant Breeding Institute, the International Rice Research Institute, the Bureau of Plant Industry, and the Bureau of Forest Products. The National Committee in Geological Sciences was created in 1980 to advise the government and private entities on matters pertaining to geological sciences. So, by virtue of Executive Number 784, Series of 1982, the National Science Development Board and its support agencies was reorganized and was named National Science and Technology Authority, NSTA, para ma-provide yung central direction and coordination ng scientific and technological research and development. So, the Mindanao and Visayas campuses of the Philippine Science High School were established noong 1986 para ma-encourage yung careers in science and technology to be more accessible sa mga talented students ng Mindanao and Visayas areas in accordance with Executive Number 1090, Series of 1986.
The Fifth Republic. During Corazon Aquino's presidency, the National Science and Technology Authority was replaced by the Department of Science and Technology, giving the department a representation in the cabinet. So, ano nga ba muna yung cabinet or gabinete? So, sila yung may mga matataas na posisyon sa executive branch ng national governments. The first Science and Technology Master Plan or STMP was formulated on August 8, 1988. So, yung STMP, this is plan or aim to guide and improve science and technology efforts in the country. And the Republic Act 6655 or the Free Public Secondary Education Act of 1988 opened free education at the secondary level. So in this law naman, it provides free education for students in secondary schools. And this meant that more young people could access education without paying tuition fees.
So, dito tayo kay President Joseph Estrada. Meron siyang sinay na legislation including the Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999, the Republic Act number 8749, and nung term niya is mas inaddress niya yung poverty, peace, and economic challenges. Pero, yun yung pinocus niya. Pero may mga initiative naman and development tulad na ng mga scholars na ginawa niya, healthcare, and basic nutrition. Yun yung mga na-establish niya during his time. And sabi niya rin sa kanyang statement dati is papabilisin niya yung pagpapagawa ng mga public schools, lalo na sa mga probinsya kasi alam niya ngang konti lang yung mga school doon and gusto niya makapag-aral yung mga bata even though na wala silang pera pang paaral sa mga anak nila. So, yun yung last statement niya.
Science and Technology during President Gloria M. Arroyo's term. In the Gloria Macapagal Arroyo administration, the science and technology sector of the Philippines was dubbed as the Golden Age of Science and Technology by Secretary Estrella Alabastro. So this meant that there were many advancements and improvements in science and technology during this time. Moreover, the term Philippinovation was the coined term used in helping the Philippines to be an innovation hub in Asia. It is highlighted the country's focus on new ideas and technologies. The Science, Technology, and Innovation, or STI, was developed further by strengthening the schools and education system, such as the Philippine Science High School, or PSHS, which focuses on science, technology, and mathematics in their curriculum. It is to enhance schools and the education system. One of more known laws to be passed by her administration was the Republic Act 9367 or the Biofuel Act. One important law during her term was the RA 9367. This law promoted the use of biofuels, which are renewable energy sources that made from plants to help reduce reliance on fossil fuels. In the term of President Benigno C. Aquino, in an effort to improve the efficiency of both land and water, the government passed Republic Act 1060-01, which improves the agriculture and fisheries sector through mechanization. So this law was passed to make farming and fishing more efficient to help improve the agriculture and fisheries sectors. And Republic Act 1060-01 also covers research, development, and extension. In this law, it is about studying new methods, creating new technologies, and helping the farmers and fishers learn and how to use these improvements. In 2010, President Benigno Aquino was considered as the father of organic agriculture because of his work on the Organic Agriculture Act of 2010, or the RA 168. It is to promote farming practices in the Philippines. The International Rice Research Institute, or the RRI, is an international research consortium including the Philippines which serves to improve the rice production and quality through biotechnology and research. The IRI is a global research organization that focuses on improving the rice production and quality. On May 23, 2016, Republic Act Number 19844, otherwise known as the DICT Act of 2015, was signed into law. So this law, it is aiming to improve and regulate the country's information and communication technology systems.
Science education in the Philippines. So science education is crucial for fostering scientific literacy and inspiring students para i-pursue yung careers in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or known as STEM. So it helps develop essential skills tulad ng mga critical thinking, curiosity, and objectivity, which are important for personal growth and national development. National priorities. So sa Pilipinas, yung science education supports technology and industry, both of which are key to economic advancement. So, a solid foundation in science can drive innovation and contribute to the country's overall progress. Current curriculum issues. Currently, yung science education begins only in grade 3. So, meaning, parang sa grade 3 pa lang talaga mag-uumpisa yung parang pinaka-science na subject ng isang student, which limits yung early engagement ito sa scientific concepts. Let's take for example yung mga younger students miss the opportunities to explore yung mga simple experiments or mga foundational principles, potentially dampening yung parang pinaka-interest nila sa STEM fields. K-12 program improvements. So, the K-12 program has introduced several enhancements to science education. So, number 1, spiral progression. So, yung curriculum now integrates life science, chemistry, physics, and earth science sa iba't ibang grade level instead na pag-isolate to specific years. So, this helps yung mga students to connect concepts and across disciplines. So, for instance, yung student might study ecosystem in grade 4 while also learning about basic chemical reaction in grade 5. Number 2, learner-centered approach. So, yung program na to promotes inquiry-based learning na nag-encourage mga students to explore real-world issues. So, for example, instead na pag-aaralan na lang nila yung about ecosystems, students might conduct projects on local biodiversity, allowing them to engage actively with their community and environment. Number 3, enhance critical thinking. So, by emphasizing yung mga hands-on activities and problem solving, yung curriculum na to aims to strengthen students' analytical skills. So, this prepares them to tackle complex challenges such as yung climate change or public health issues. Need for rethink. So, as the global economy increasingly relies on technology and innovation, the Philippines must ensure na yung education system aligns with these trends. Meaning, this means na providing students with engaging, relevant science education from an early age to foster a passion for learning and discovery. In conclusion, while yung K-12 program offers significant improvements to science education sa Pilipinas, addressing the late introduction of science and enhancing field exposure is essential. So, by focusing on integrated learning and inquiry-based methods, the education system can better prepare students for successful careers in STEM and contribute to the country's development.
And now, looking forward to the future of science. In summary, science and technology are important for our country's economic growth and societal development. So, ang country daw na gumagamit ng mga advanced technology ay tend to be more competitive globally. So, science and technology help improve people's lives by solving problems in health, the environment, and education. So, sa future, ang pag-continue ng pag-i-invest in science and technology ay magiging crucial to finding solutions to global challenges, and ina-ensure nito ang economic and social progress. And now, this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.